Good morning, guys. Welcome back to Wednesday's episode of Bareham Engines. So, guys, it's the middle of the week. We're cracking on and we've made a few changes here. So, the Transit 2 litre wet belt, that one, as you can see, is stripped. I'm going to get Isaac to go through that in a bit. Let you know what he's found so far and the problems that may arise in building this thing. The Cosworth, this is the RS500, guys. This is the one that arrived on the pallet a couple of days ago. We've managed to get it on a stand and we are going to get that one stripped pretty smartish. So this, although it looks fairly tidy really for an old Cosy that ain't been done. It looks like the rocker cover's been done at some point. So that saves us a task, looks pretty good. But yeah, very rare and very expensive engine these days. You're looking probably about 15,000 quid for one in this state. The head being a genuine RS500, the block being the 205 with the small core plug. That is a genuine RS500 block. So yeah, very rare item indeed. We all know now these RS500 cars, in whatever state, are fetching big money, up around the 100,000 quid mark, which is absolutely ridiculous, but there we go. So the first problem that we've seen, which obviously the customer has made me aware of, he didn't know this until he'd removed the inlet manifold, but you can see down here it has broke a bit off the bottom of the inlet port. Now this is where you bolt the bottom of the sort of bottom side of the inlet manifold onto. That is, you see it's been done for quite some time. Here's the little bit lot. So this is the bit that with the dowel. That's another trait of the RS500 cylinder heads. They've got the doweled on inlet manifolds. So you can see by the state of where it has fractured, look, that's been done for some time. So that's obviously been drawing in air. So whether that's contributed to any of the damage, we don't know, but that is a bit of a common thing. We can get that repaired, weld that back on and trim this all back and redo it, not a problem. So at this stage, we know that the engine is a little bit tired. He did say that the head gasket has gone good and proper, so he's hoping that the block is not too much damage, that we can't salvage it, but that would be a very rare occurrence that we can't salvage one of these 500 205 blocks or the 200 blocks. So get that one stripped soon and see what we got, guys. While we're on the subject of Cosworths, this Cosworth here, you can see, guys, I've got the oil pump on, the pickup on. I'm starting to put the bottom end together. In a minute, I will be having the sump on. So I've plastic gauged the mains yesterday, and the big ends as also, and we've got absolutely perfect clearances. So it just goes to show with these new motorsport bearings that I've put in there, you knew what it was like before, but now that's give us that absolutely perfect. So it's 1 thou per inch of journal size, basically diameter. So absolutely cock on with the clearance. I'm just about to put this last piston in, which is number 4. You can see, look, I've marked the rods as they come out. We've checked the size of these rods, checked the balance, absolutely fine. Well, they are now. Crank is all balanced. And this is the rod and the piston here. So the only modification that I did do, which you can see I've machined the crown of the piston. So it had the valve cutouts in already. And I had to take 5 or 6 thou off the block face. So when I did my calculations, we were up around 20 or so thou protrusion when it came in, which was probably original. And by the time I took a bit more off the block face, we've had to take 15 thou off the outside of these pistons. So I've done my calculations for the compression ratio, and I've ended up taking another 15 thou off the center here. And we've gone out about 30 thou on this chamfer here. So we've brought that out slightly, and that basically takes us back to the compression ratio we want to go to. So happy with those now. The rings here in our lovely little ring holder, look, we've checked the ring gaps. Now, usually these original rings, these are not original Mahlers, these are the Hepalite rings that we're using, which is a more superior ring because you've got the 3-piece oil control ring as opposed to the old school one. The only thing is, I've checked the gaps, and because this thing is going to be running big power, I've wanted to make sure that we've got enough ring gap. Basically, you don't want them too tight if you're running big power. So the only thing I've had to do is open the compression ring up about 3 thou. Center ring and the all control rings are fine. So that's all I've had to do. So I'm going to get those rings onto the piston, get that piston down the hole, guys, get that one torqued up. I've torqued everything else up, and then we can get the sump on, and that is the bottom end getting on pretty much done, really. We just bolt a few ancillaries on there, then we've just had a delivery now for the cams. So the cams are all I was waiting for on the head. Cams are in this box here from Newman, ideal, along with the Rover V8 trick cam and followers for this Rover round here that we've got to put a set of ductile iron liners in, this one here. So yeah, got plenty on. We've now got the block off. This is the block for the other Perkins. John's pretty much finished that one there, just got to put the rocker cover on. That one is off the boring bar, so I can now get the V8 Rover on there, and it's all going on steadily and nicely, which is absolutely lovely. Nice to have something run smoothly for a change.
We're rolling.
We're rolling. Hopefully they can hear us. Got the big lathe going, bit noisy, but unfortunately we've left the second half of this video a bit late. 20 to 5.
It is.
And John's just refacing a large flywheel. So I've discussed where I was with the Cosworth, mate. We'll go over there in a minute, have a look at that.
Yep.
I'm just unboxing the stuff from Newman cams. As you can tell, I've got a bit of a cold.
Yeah. It's that season, isn't it?
I think so.
Time for colds.
Call it off the kids.
Yeah.
So at the moment, I'm unboxing the solid lifters for the Cosy. So as you all know, originally they have hydraulic lifter, which the idea of a hydraulic is to pump full of oil through an oil gallery in the head, and it jacks itself up, takes up the clearance between the valve stem and the camshaft. So it jacks itself up. It's got like a valve in there, one-way valve, and once it reaches the right height, it just stays there. And then, but with a solid lifter, you don't obviously have that system, so you have to set a clearance up. So we've got a shim that goes on top of there. That is a 7mm diameter, and then the valve stem, and then the camshaft there, and we will have a clearance.
So what's the benefit of that then?
So the benefit of that is you don't have any risk of the hydraulic jacking up. You can run a more consistent, well, a dead set clearance, which means you're getting the absolute maximum benefit from the camshaft. And also, because it's a solid lifter and you've got, you can rev it higher basically because you're
not relying on that hydraulic ram to
exactly
sort of stay jacked up whilst you're revving it high.
Yeah, so you can generally rev them a bit higher with these. So the only disadvantage is obviously you've got to set the clearances, stay on top of the clearances as well, because they can change obviously over time, and they do have a tendency in some applications to be a little bit noisier than a hydraulic because you've got that clearance. So if you're running a big cam and quite a wide clearance, it can be a bit tappety maybe, but it depends what you want, isn't it?
Well, if that's what you need to make a bit more power, then that's what some people do, isn't it?
Exactly. These are the camshafts. So this is what we've got here. This is an inlet cam, a BD14, which we have got a 14 over there, but this is a normally aspirated, what am I talking about? A solid lifter profile.
Right, so it's got a different profile as
So it's got a different profile because obviously the profile will be different. The base circle's smaller on these cams as opposed to the hydraulic ones. And they change, I think they change the sort of, whether they change the dwell angle or something like that. But yeah, very slightly different. But I can visibly see that diameter there's less anyway. So yeah.
Nice item though, isn't it? From Newman.
Newman, always a good quality product from Newman. Can't fault them. Never had an issue. which is great, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, end of the day, mate. This is the Cosy so far. See, we've got all the pistons in now. We've got the correct jut out. We've got the correct bowl volume in the pistons. We started to bolt a few bits on. We've got the water pump here. Got a few nice new bits, plated bits, and a few painted bits. So bottom end wise, sumps on.
Lovely.
So we've got to just put a few bits on this bottom end, core plugs in. I'm going to set that cylinder head up this week at some point, hopefully.
Ideal.
We can get that on, get this one finished, mate. Job's a
Looks
good one.
really good.
Does look
lovely,
nice,
that.
doesn't it?
Looks
Lovely job, Lee.
Looks trick.
Yeah. So the 2 litre wet belt Transit.
Beautiful
What have-
thing.
Got it all stripped now, mate.
Yep.
What have we come up with? First of all, what was the problem with this?
So it's stripped a load of teeth off
That's
of the belt.
correct. Put that in a video, haven't we?
Yeah, and smashed up all the rockers.
Yeah, we've seen
Also,
that.
I don't know, did we show the cam? It's knocked that cam lobe 90 degrees round from the other one.
And what we didn't say in the last video, which we didn't even realise then,
No, we didn't know.
you pointed this out.
Well, yeah, I was looking at this setup here. Obviously, these are inside this housing, and I realised you can't get those camshafts out of there.
Right. So they've been assembled. So these are the pressed on load type.
Yeah.
So they've been assembled in situ in
Somehow,
this cover.
yeah. But yeah, so there's no bolt to remove the pulleys.
Yeah.
There's no caps, obviously. So that is just one unit.
Okay.
That is a set of camshafts.
Right. So you have to buy a whole cam assembly basically which comes with a cover and everything. And how much are they?
I think you said there was 700 odd quid or something.
Pretty much similar
Yeah,
to that. Yeah.
around there.
I think we get them for about 100 quid cheaper than that, but it's still a fair bit of money, isn't it?
Yeah.
And bear in mind, if it does a belt, you've got to replace that. So it's 1,000 quid in bits, isn't it? By the time you bought all the rockers and the lifters and that, 18 quid each
Exactly.
for a hydraulic and a rocker, and there's 16 of the buggers.
And yeah, it chucked all the little, what do you call it? Like the
Needle
bits, yeah, the
rollers,
needle
yeah.
roll. It chucked them everywhere. They were sitting all in the air, and
Oh, really?
yeah, they was everywhere. So,
So-
you wouldn't have wanted to just do a belt job on this and
No.
replace the rockers,
No,
because that could have been pretty disastrous.
it could have been, yeah. Crank-wise, bores all look good.
Bores look good. I'm a little bit concerned about the centre main on the crank, but I
Right.
don't. John seems to think it should polish, but it's there's a few little scores on it, so he's going to measure that and check it.
We'll have a look, mate. If in doubt, we'll grind it.
Yeah.
We've come across another issue with these, which we wouldn't have aware of because we haven't done one before, but pistons.
Yes.
So on this, we have give Chris the option. Unfortunately, the bores measure absolutely cock on. We can even afford to take a little bit of material out of these,
Yeah.
but they are perfect. Cross-hatching all looks great.
Yeah, it does. It looks
We've
really
got to
good.
face the block because that looks a bit blowy, doesn't it?
A little bit.
But these later engines come with this style piston, so they call this a skeleton piston.
Yeah, that's what our
For
supplier
whatever,
calls
because
it,
it's
isn't
like
it?
hardly anything to it, I expect. Now the difference between this one and the older style 2 litre, by the sounds of it, this one here you can't get, they are not available.
Right.
So if you've got this newer style motor that needs pistons or needs boring, you can't put these skeleton type pistons in. So we spoke to our supplier, and it's obviously there's no warranty with this, but this is what they say that they sell a lot of customers, and this is the way round it. Is the previous engine is the 2 litre, but it's got a different style of piston. It's a sort of bigger piston, normal type really, and it diesel.
Yeah. Just a proper diesel piston, that.
Yeah. So they've got the same crown design.
Yeah.
They've got the same ring layout, 2mm by 2mm by 2mm. So you could use rings in the new style piston.
Yeah.
The overall from the crank pin to the top of the piston is the same height. So what people tend to do, but you can see, look, that older style rod is quite a bit shorter.
Yeah.
So the only difference that would make would be there'd be on the new one there'd be less lateral. It's basically like doing a long rod conversion on a Cosy or something.
Right.
Less
So
lateral
that's
movement.
A little bit less stress on it, I suppose.
Bit less stress on it, bit less weight.
Yeah.
But what people are doing is they're buying the old style piston in oversize, but you have to buy the rod as well, and they're fitting those.
Right, okay.
And the supplier said
So that'll
that they
work,
haven't had.
will it?
It will
It should
work,
work,
and
yeah.
apparently works. No, they've sold loads of them. No one's ever come back saying there's been an issue, but obviously it ain't the right thing to be in there. But it is a way around it, isn't it?
Yeah.
At the moment. So
It's a modification, isn't it?
at this, yeah. So in this case, we spoke to Chris and said, look, these pistons are like new. The rods are all good. The bores are great. We can take a little bit of material out of there, set of rings, go with that
It'll be good to go, yeah.
on their head beer, obviously. But it's the only way around it at the moment, isn't it?
Well,
So
they do look pretty good, and they measure good, so
yeah.
should be fine.
So we've ordered all the bits. Hopefully the cranks are going to be all right. Otherwise the bearings won't
I
be.
think it is. It's just yeah, you just need to double check that centre main.
Yeah.
It's just a few little marks. It's just almost, you can't really see it, but you can just about feel it with your finger.
Right. Okay.
It don't catch on your nail, but
Ah.
it's sort of like,
That's good
yeah,
then.
probably John thinks it'll polish out, so should be. a good
I did notice, was it in my comments or someone sent me an email saying that they've done a few of these, and they said do make sure that you time up the pump correctly.
Diesel pump.
Diesel pump, yeah.
Yeah, I did one a couple of weeks ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
Is
'cause we
easy,
had to
easy
take
enough
the
to
pump
do?
off. Yeah, easy enough. It's just a bit of a fiddly job,
right.
but it's all right.
So apart from that, mate, fairly straightforward.
Yeah. Yeah, gonna get that. Got the head down there. I'll get that all stripped out.
Yeah, nice basic head now, really, and we're hoping that no valves are bent, but until we get the springs off and take them out, we
Yeah.
ain't going to know.
You reckon we need to pressure test that, or?
We'll give it a pressure test while it's apart, innit?
Yeah. Probably a good idea.
Yeah, you may as well with the diesel stuff, although it hasn't given
not
issue.
letting the
It's
gasket
while
out,
you're
is
at it, let's do it, innit? So that's it, mate, at the moment, isn't it?
I think so.
Hopefully in the next week we'll get that 500 strip, see what
Oh yeah.
disasters we've got with the block, hopefully none. But that's it for today, innit?
I think so.
We'll end it there. Thank you very much for watching, guys. See you on Friday.